Thank you for listening to Podcast West Seattle. My name is Andrew. On this episode of the podcast, we hear about Seattle's only pro wrestling-themed sports bar.
To get together and have a few beers and watch wrestling on the Titantron.
We also check in with the West Seattle Food Bank.
It's a drive-through distribution at South Seattle College.
All of this and more is coming up on Podcast West Seattle. As I record this, it is Thursday, November 18th. After last week's record-setting rain and wind, we now find ourselves in a very cold spell. We may not see 50 degrees again until next week, so stay warm. Let's look at some West Seattle headlines. All that rain and high tides have brought an influx of salmon into Fauntleroy Creek. Judy Pickens tells the West Seattle blog that the count of coho observed by salmon watchers is currently at 87. That's the highest total watchers have counted since 2012. The most recent West Seattle Bridge update maintains that the bridge reopening is on schedule. SDOT is sticking with the delightfully vague mid-2022 for the reopening. We did learn that they will announce the reopening date just 1 month before the bridge will open for traffic. And it's been a while since we've checked in on the Seattle Public Schools COVID dashboard. No news is good news, as they say. The number of new cases in the district continue to decrease, even as cases start to go up again statewide. Just 7 new cases reported in West Seattle from SPS. It would seem the protective measures at school are working. Now let's check out some upcoming events. First, let's check in with the West Seattle Food Bank. I spoke with Brianna Bushaw about what they've got going on for Thanksgiving and the holiday season.
We have a Thanksgiving distribution for groceries this weekend. It's a drive-through distribution at South Seattle College, and families can come drive through and pick up a frozen turkey and a box of either produce or a Thanksgiving box that would have items to make the full Thanksgiving meal. We'll still be handing out turkeys and Thanksgiving items at the food bank on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We have always different volunteer opportunities that we're looking for folks from the community to come help with distributions or events. And we also have a coat drive going on December 5th at the farmers market. We'll be collecting warm clothing, jackets, hats, mittens, gloves, things to stay warm for the holiday season for our clothesline. And the biggest way to help this season would be to make a donation. Our donations help provide fresh produce, meat, dairy for our food distribution, and then also helps families in the community to stay in their houses. We have emergency financial assistance for folks who are at risk of being evicted. So we can help financially keep families in their homes, keep their utilities on, and helps fund other programs for essential needs here in the community.
Thanks, Brianna. Next up, the High Point neighborhood will be having their first annual fruit tree lighting event in Commons Park on Friday, November 19th from 5:30 to 7. Lots of small events are planned, and of course, a tree lighting at 6 o'clock. And one more event for this weekend. The Kindy West Concert Series at the Fauntleroy Schoolhouse is welcoming Harmonica Pocket on Sunday at 10:30 a.m. You can get tickets online and find out about more kids' concerts coming to the Fauntleroy Schoolhouse. Now, a couple of quick notes before we get to that wrestling bar. First, that great music that plays underneath the headlines. Yeah, that's it. It was composed by Matt Speck Watson. He's nice enough to let me use the track. You can find more of his work at speculationmusic.com, and you can find that link in the show notes. In other news, this past weekend, I competed in KCRW's 24-hour radio race. It is a competition the Southern California Public Radio Station conducts each year. They give independent radio producers a theme at 10 a.m. on Saturday and give them until 10 a.m. on Sunday to produce a 4-minute story on that theme. This year's theme was, "Won't You Be My Neighbor?" I found the Lariat bar asking just that question of the White Center neighborhood. They were opening for the first time on the same day as the radio race, and they were nice enough to let me hang around and record it. So here's my 24-hour radio race story, the Lariat Bar, a wrestling community.
Oh,
I have a job for you.
This is George, Nate, and Stephanie.
Just getting the show on the road.
It'd be nice if our POS system decided to work too.
They are 3 bartenders who are opening their own bar, a pro wrestling-themed bar. After 2.5 years of preparation, it is just over an hour before they open their doors to the neighborhood for the first time.
Clean. Clean, and the rest of the art go up.
Don't we have any music on?
You should be doing all this by montage. You'd be done already.
Dude, that was our issue.
So right now I'm just taking a lot of these posters and art that George has collected over the last couple of years, getting ready for the opening.
Everyone is buzzing with last-minute energy.
Oh, you found it! It wouldn't be us and it wouldn't be this industry if it wasn't everything last minute.
I attempted to recreate an old Macho Man cape. Big sequence, red with big silver stars. It says Macho Man.
Behooves us to be frantic and busy because that's what bartending is anyway. So it's kind of like we're at home with it.
Making sure we're as prepared as we can be for what we think is going to happen tonight.
And suddenly, it was time to open the doors.
He is right now. You're the first guest ever.
You're number one.
The official first customer at the Lariat bar. You are it. Yeah, that's the first drink I poured legally here.
And then came more customers.
70. Do you want to keep a tab open, my friend?
I've been following them on Instagram like weekly.
And more. And many of them came to watch wrestling on TV.
One thing I can think about is it the pinballs? Is it the robes? Is it the photography? What is it that brings about the place? But what it is having a place to get together and have a few beers and watch wrestling on the Titantron here at this place. We're super excited and we're really glad to be here.
Midway through the night, it was clear the evening was going to be a success.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
Here's George.
No, we absolutely did not buy enough food. I was not expecting it to be this busy.
Absolutely.
Here's Stephanie.
Because, we hoped and people had expressed interest, but that doesn't mean anything until people come in the door. So
that balls of fear is all gone.
That's Nate.
It feels so good to see this. Like, I've done this since I was 14 years old, and to finally own my own spot with my partners,
I was worried, and now I'm not. So
I knew that there was a wrestling community out there that is very rarely catered to.
What it is having a place to meet with fellow wrestling fans and share.
My business partners I know and love and trust. So when I came into business with them 2.5 years ago, they'd already had the idea. And I thought everybody stopped watching wrestling in 1995 like I did. I had no idea it was this enormous community with these jacked up fans, and they're all like super awesome, and like it's been such a cool experience.
George, Nate, and Stephanie were thrilled to see their vision come to life. And it was easy to get the sense that a community was forming in real time.
I knew there was a wrestling scene in Seattle, but I didn't realize how big it was and how supportive they are of each other. So
Being around people that understand. It's finding additional family.
Oh, absolutely. Just give us time to get out of the shadows.
This piece was produced by Andrew Stuckey as part of KCRW's 24-hour radio race. Big thanks to George, Nate, and Stephanie for letting me behind the scenes on their very first night, and also a huge thanks to Patrick Robinson for helping find the story. That's all for this episode of Podcast West Seattle. As always, I ask that you share the podcast with your podcast listening friends. Subscribe, follow, or do whatever your podcast app does to get automatic updates. And thanks for listening. Until next time, stay warm, West Seattle.